Well, thank you so much for that warm welcome. I am here to talk to you about human-AI collaboration. What does that really mean? Well, it simply means we're bringing people together with AI technology to enhance each other's strengths, to improve productivity and performance. Now, I've been on this journey now for about 10 years. We actually started Darktrace in Cambridge as an AI research center. And we've worked now with over 9,000 companies, including some of you in this room, to go through this journey of how you build trust between people and AI in the workplace. Now, we've applied this to cybersecurity, but I will say I think the lessons that we've learned, you can extrapolate to businesses everywhere. There's one lesson I want to start off with, and that is we tend to focus and hear a lot about improved productivity. And we see that. You're going to see anywhere from single to double-digit improvements in productivity across the board. But I think what I've learned over the 10 years is that's really not what it's about. It changes how people work, it improves their quality of life, and it really has a lot of effective business outcomes, sometimes that are unexpected. And I'm going to share some of those with you. So in terms of cybersecurity landscape, probably no surprise to any of you in this room, we're seeing an increase in cyber insecurity. And there's two main drivers for that. The first driver is the rapid adoption of Gen AI technology. It's lowering the barrier of entry for attackers. But Gen AI is not all bad, right? There's a lot of great things about it. Business leaders are embracing it. Employees love the search and some of the new applications. If you talk to developers, they love coding with Gen AI. But the attackers love it too. Why do they love it? They love it because by the term generative, what it does is it generates new novel content based on data. And what this means is it can create new novel targeted attacks at a speed and scale never seen before. Now, at Darktrace, I talk to a lot of customers all the time. They're already feeling the impact of Gen AI attacks. But we also did a massive piece of research with over 1,700 chief information security officers, and 74% of them are saying it is already having an impact on their business and strategy. The next thing in terms of driving cyber insecurity is geopolitics. We are all operating our businesses in a world of uncertainty. I don't know if you saw this headline. It kind of snuck under the radar a bit about a month ago, but Microsoft issued a report confirming that they actually have seen groups linked to nation states using Gen AI as part of attacks. Now, how were they using it? They were doing reconnaissance, they were researching targets, and they were using it for social engineering phishing attacks. The World Economic Forum did a survey and found that 70% of business leaders are already feeling this impact as well. Now, not all of us worry about nation-state attacks in our business every day. Maybe we don't feel like we've got that target on our back. So why should we care about this? Well, there's been a pattern over the last 3 decades that starts when these nation-state linked groups who are very advanced, very sophisticated, they're the first ones that usually start using new techniques and new technology to create attacks. And then it trickles down. It trickles down to organized cyber criminals and eventually even to novice hackers. In this particular case, we've seen recent evidence not only from Microsoft, but also you may have heard in January about the report from Avanti. Now, Avanti creates a VPN gateway. To put in plain English, there's a new thing I like to call coffee shop IT, right? Our employees want to be able to access our corporate resources from any device, from wherever they want at any time, right? And that makes it challenging. Well, Avanti's Secure Connect technology is what keeps your corporate resources safe. So when this report came out with these 4 high vulnerabilities in January, it was very concerning, because what it meant is potentially an attacker could get access from the edge of your network, be able to issue any command, and see all data unencrypted. Very concerning. The thing that's more concerning is that in the weeks and months that followed, we saw other groups, not as sophisticated as nation states, using the same techniques in an automated fashion. It happened really quickly. That's why we worry when we hear that nation-state linked groups are starting to use Gen AI. It's only a matter of time until that trickles down. Now, this is an actual real-world email that was shared with us from a Darktrace customer. It's an email that has a very high likelihood that it was generated with Gen AI. It's from the Human Resource Department, and I'll zoom in a little bit further on it. And what it's actually doing is it's saying that there's a new anti-discrimination policy that the company is rolling out, and it sent an email to all employees, and it asked them to agree to this policy. So it had a clear call to action. It was a well-written email. The grammar was perfect. It was actually of quite a long length. It broke all the rules that we train everyone in security awareness training of what a phishing email looks like. Gen AI phishing emails with social engineering will fool pretty much everyone. And so this is what makes them so difficult to spot. But the other thing that happens is traditional tools weren't made to spot this. Why? Because this is a novel attack generated for that specific company, for those employees, and had they clicked on this, it would have taken them to an employee HR portal that looks like their portal, and it would have stolen all their credentials. And it would have gotten by traditional tools that rely on knowledge about known attacks and known attacker behaviors. Darktrace luckily doesn't rely on that. We caught this email. It never hit the employees' inboxes. Now let's switch gears a bit. Let's take ourselves from being that employee who almost would have fallen for that email to now being somebody in your security team. Security teams have some of the hardest jobs in the organization. Why? Because they're under stress all day, every day, barraged with these alerts. It's just a continuous stressful situation. And then what happens if there's an actual attack that's serious? Well, unfortunately, physiology works against them. The human brain goes into this gear, right, that basically is in crisis mode. And the brain just starts saying, do something, get us out of this crisis, take an action, take any action. And that leads to, unfortunately, sometimes to bad decision making under that kind of stress. And it's literally a physiological issue, right, of having that stress. Now, there's good news. AI can actually lower your security team's stress. In fact, AI can do a lot of that bit mundane, looking through all those alerts all day, every day. AI can look at 100% of those alerts in real time. It can triage data. It can do investigations. Most importantly, it can contain actual attacks for as long as you want. It can contain it for minutes, hours, even days, while the human security team then goes deeper into what they need to do. And the AI can even make recommendations based on logic, based on data, as to what those actions should be. We had one customer tell us recently, he felt like the Marvel superhero Tony Stark putting on the Iron Man suit when he had AI helping him through his day-to-day jobs. Now, beyond putting on an Iron Man suit, there's a lot of other things that AI can help your teams do. The most important thing that we've learned in terms of AI human collaboration and cybersecurity that I think applies elsewhere is it can help people move from a reactive to a proactive state. Now, all of us kind of know when you're in a reactive state, what happens? It's chaotic. That's what makes it so stressful. You're living in constant chaos. And I think what also happens, as we know, is you're in that crisis mode of having to take quick action, which leads to burnout. And that's why we hear about this burnout on cybersecurity teams. But what if the AI did all of those things I described? I had one customer actually say, what do my people do? What do my people do if the AI is triaging all these alerts and taking all this action and containing the attacks? They get to do human things that the AI can't do. They get to be prepared, they get to plan, they get to work with other departments about new products and services that need security wrapped around them. They're better at problem solving, and it lowers their stress. Now, I'd like to share with you 2 real-world scenarios where we've seen human AI collaboration in action. The first one is a cloud service provider to credit unions. And credit unions are the cornerstone of many communities. People have to trust credit unions with their money. And as a result, the executive team at this credit union service provider reached out to Darktrace and said, we have a challenge. Our customers and our prospective customers and our regulators are asking us to prove that our people, our processes, and our technology can react against ransomware. And in the past, this company had hired an outside firm, and they did once a year a test. We've all heard of tabletop exercises. I like to call them, they're paper-based. Somebody makes up a scenario. You sit around a table with paper in front of you. They walk you through the scenario. Many of you may have been part of a tabletop exercise before. And he said, it checks the box, but I don't feel like my team's any better prepared. It's not realistic. I want something that not only checks the box for the regulators and my customers and prospects, we want something that actually means our team is better prepared, that we understand what it feels like to actually be in a ransomware attack, that we understand what data and systems we might lose access to and how we react to that. AI is able to do a real simulation on real data with guardrails all around it, so it's absolutely safe. And this means that the actual team is run through a real-world ransomware scenario on real data and their environment. They passed with flying colors, but most importantly, their team is better prepared than they've ever been, and they can run this simulation every day, every week, every month. And not just ransomware. They can run it against phishing attacks, insider threat, malware, whatever the new variant is. The next story I want to share with you is human AI collaboration in a hospital. This is a hospital in the Midwest United States. And again, they had a very forward-looking executive team. And they said, we're sick of this constant firefighting that our security team is under. We think we have a bigger challenge. The challenge is there's all kinds of new medical devices that are life-saving devices that connect to the hospital network and to the internet. We're worried a hacker could get into those medical devices and maybe do real patient damage. How can we get our security team out of the daily firefighting into this proactive state so that they can better align with patient care and protect these medical devices? So the first step was using AI to get the team out of firefighting. So the AI now triages all the alerts, contains the threats. It freed up the security team at the hospital's time to go work with doctors and nurses. And they started doing these educational sessions with doctors and nurses. And there was one group in particular that raised their hand. It was the neonatal care unit. And they said, we've just brought in these new devices. They're connected to our network. They're connected to the internet for in-home patient care when they leave the hospital. We're really worried about hackers getting into these. So we also were enabled the AI to work with the security team to harden the security around those devices and flag to the security team immediately when anything changed out of the ordinary. This allowed the security team to now really align with patient care and align with the doctors and the nurses to deliver patient care with higher security. These are the types of stories, and I've got 9,000 of them, but these are just two where I think you can see the examples of how it really changes the security team from kind of being this isolated, separate group to becoming part of the mainstream of the business and help really uplift and align to the business goals. So what should we take away from this? The first is there's a lot of opportunity with AI. You're going to hear a lot about that from other speakers throughout the conference. But I also want to make sure that you're aware that Gen AI attacks are here. They're here now with social engineering phishing attacks. There's going to be whole evolutions of new type attacks that we're going to start to see from those nation-state link groups that are going to trickle down. They'll eventually become attacks as a service, just like ransomware as a service is now. Don't wait. Be prepared. Make sure you're asking the right questions to make sure your security team and your business is prepared for this change. Second, make sure that you're thinking about how you can move your security team and other parts of your business from reactive to proactive using artificial intelligence and this human AI collaboration. And finally, this type of transformation starts at the top. In those examples I gave you, it's leaders. It's leaders articulating what their business challenges are, what they're concerned about, and making sure that this AI-human collaboration is accepted and really become their cheerleaders. Give people the confidence to say, let's try this. Let's figure out how to trust AI. It takes time. It's not going to happen overnight. That human AI collaboration is extremely valuable to all of your organizations. Thank you very much.